What's up, good people? Let me know that you can hear me in the chat by typing never too late. Never too late if you can hear me in the chat. Yes, I'm unmuted this time with a new mic. I am happy to be here. Happy to be here. Tonight, we are going to be doing a live reaction to a much overdue video on the public side. For those of you who are not aware, I reacted to this video already. Back on November 1st, I reacted to this video less than 24 hours after it came out. But some of you don't know that because you are not subscribed to our Telegram, where the QR code is right here. So you can join Telegram for free. It's a way to stay in tune. It's a way that I send out notifications and other information and exclusive videos that I don't post publicly on YouTube. And then we also have our Patreon, where there's a free tier, but for the $5 or higher tier, you get exclusive content. And then we have our channel membership. So those who are on any of those three platforms had already watched, and we did a live watch party, unfiltered, completely unfiltered, of Terica Ellis interview, whatever you want to call this thing. And so yeah, please join and get connected more closely to the community. Could y'all hear me? Because I'm not saying anybody say, but y'all not saying y'all can't hear me. But let me know that you can hear me by typing in the chat. Never too late. Never too late if you can hear me in the chat, or is the chat just that far behind? Y'all know I'm rusty, so I'm trying to make sure we all good before I go too deep in. And what's up to our moderators and channel members? You got Precious, you got Deshaun, you got Miss AMJ, you got Sonia and Marianne and everyone else who's in the chat. There we go. Thank Deshaun. Oh no, okay. I'm starting to see him now. Why it take y'all so long? What's going on? Thank you, Nicole. I think with Nicole Driver, I think was the first one to say. Everybody else just talking to each other. Hey, I guess y'all like, we missed each other. We ain't got time for all your shenanigans, all your extraness that you do. It's my way of testing the mic. It's my way of knowing that you actually can hear me because you're typing what I asked you to type, which means you clearly hear me. But anyway, so I am very happy to be back. We are pumping out these videos now, and we will be having morning lives during the week between the 6 and 7 o'clock Central Hour. So if you're an early bird, catch us live then. If not, you can watch the replays. So this particular tonight, we're going to be watching the interview of Terica Ellis breaking her silence after 8 years regarding the Andre Montgomery M4 hire plot that James Timothy Norman created or orchestrated. Thank you to the 82% of you who have liked this video already and shared it. If you have not as of yet, please like this video and share it. It is free to you, but it is invaluable to me and the growth of this platform. Plus, we need the algorithm to realize we are back and we are here to stay. Next poll question coming out. I am curious how many of you have actually watched this interview. Again, it came out on October 31st. And I did receive a DM like within a few hours of it premiering from one of our people. And I woke up to the DM and then ended up watching it later that evening. I want to say it was the next afternoon or evening. We ended up watching it on Patreon and Telegram and channel members. They all had access because I wanted to watch it right away, but I didn't have the bandwidth to do what I had to do for us to do it publicly, which is edit it so that it's appropriate for copyright and all of those things. So it took me from November to today, literally today, to get that part of it done. Also, shout out to giving credit to the platform that we got this video from. It's Wild Kid. Is it Wild Kid? Will Kid or Wild Kid Films on YouTube. And I'm going to also link the video, the full video, in the comment section below this. So a little background on how we even got here, or how they got to the point of interviewing Terica Ellis after her 8 years of silence. This video, Terica Ellis was at a video shoot with one of her friends. I guess the friend's a musician or something, a rapper or something. And while being there, she ended up having a conversation with the director of her friend's video. And during that conversation, she was telling him that she's on papers, and I guess she's kind of moving a little different right now because she's on paper. For those of you who don't know what that means she's on parole. And so while she was talking to the director, another young lady was there who happened to be from St. Louis, overheard the conversation, and she was sympathetic to Terica's story. She actually, the young lady, and she's in this video, was also friends with Tim at a point, or acquaintances. So she knew of him, knew of the situation, but did not know Terica. And so through that meeting and that crossing the path, Terica started opening up to them. And by the next day, they were doing this interview that we're about to watch, because they also had a podcast. And Terica, before that point, had no plans to do any interviews or anything until she, quote unquote, got off papers. I'm aware of that because there was conversations happening behind the scenes with other major media outlets who wanted to also do the story, just like For My Man and who was that, Paula Zane and whatever else has been out there. But they wanted to do another project, and in this particular project, they wanted Terica to participate in. And I got word from the powers that be that Terica wouldn't be able to do it till sometime this year now, once she got off papers. That wasn't what they said. They said off parole. She calls it off papers. And there's some other stuff behind the scenes with that anyway, because she wasn't supposed to be a part of it, but that's a whole nother story. So because this young lady made Terica feel like she was in a safe place, she wasn't gonna be judged like like y'all do over here, Terica decided that, this probably might be a situation for her to be heard and give her version of this story, this tragic story of the taking of Andre's life. So let's get into Terica's version. I'm really hoping that technology is on our side today and we don't have any major issues. This particular video now has 75,000 views. So I'm not surprised that oh, wait a minute. I'm reading the poll without clicking on it first. The poll question just went out was, have you seen the Terica interview? 25% of you said yes. 75% of you said no. And before I clicked on it, all I saw was the 75%. I thought that was saying 75% of you have seen. So do y'all mean that it went down? 74% of y'all been waiting on me to talk about it? Please join Telegram and Patreon and or the channel membership. So y'all, because again, I talked about this 2 months ago. And that's the unfiltered version. The video is still out there. If you join any of those platforms, you can still find the link. It wasn't filtered. I'm going to be very much so appropriate for the public with my responses now. And now I've watched it 3 times. When we reacted to it November 1st, that was my first time seeing it. So everything was raw. It's going to be different than this. So if you want to see that, you can also join Telegram or channel membership or Patreon or whatever. Anyway, let's get into it. I'm going to put my glasses on because I cannot see the chat. Trying to act like I don't need the glasses. Okay, let's get into it. Wow, only 27%. And it's got 75,000 views. Interesting. Let's see. Oh, okay. All right, so we're about to play the video. Please let me know in the chat if we have any problems with the sound. We should be good because I actually edited this video, so we're not sharing or streaming it. It's an original video now. Oh, copyright. Oh, well, I could play the video because it's.
Tell everybody your name.
So, copyright disclaimer under Section 701, allowances made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. We're doing all of that. We're doing criticism and we're doing comments. We're doing news reporting. So, fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing, which means that because of the way we've done this, we cannot be copyrighted. Please and thank you. Let's get into it.
My name is Terica Ellis.
Okay, where are you from?
I'm from Memphis.
I'm sorry, another disclaimer. This ain't copyright related. This is those people who might be, Val, you stopping it too much. If you want to see the original video uninterrupted, please click on or go to the original video, and I'm going to put it in the chat while they're talking. And but I am going to be stopping and going constantly with this video. So that's your disclaimer. And another thing is, you can't tell me that I don't have Terica Ellis's voice down. You can't tell me I ain't had that voice down.
See, South Memphis.
Okay. So let's just talk about how we ran into you. Then you had mentioned, you know, that you had dated Tim from Sweetie Pies.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, you know, you were just a part of that whole thing. And I was just like, wow. Like, do you want to kind of, like, you know, talk about what happened, like how y'all met, you know?
Okay, well, actually, I dealt with Tim for about 6 years, 6 or 7 years. And I was dancing at Bottoms Up in St. Louis. Right. And my homegirl, like me and a bunch of my homegirls, used to go down to St. Louis and dance from Memphis. Right. And my homegirl was talking to one of Tim's partners.
Which one, Bruce? Or
one of Tim's partners?
No, this is like one of his, like, partners, like, ain't on the front street. They used to be him, like that or whatever. So, they had, like, a grand opening for their Sweetie Pies and stuff like that. And it was, like, I think they was, like, getting ready to open up. It was, like, years and years ago. I want to say it was about 2009, maybe 2009. Yeah. So, we met or whatever. And so that's just how we got connected, and then we just like dealt with each other on and off for years.
So you went to the grand opening, you met him there?
No, I actually met him at the club.
Okay, yeah, because you said your friend was talking to one of his friends.
Yeah, and they all come in the club. You know how a group of guys come in the club and they throw money and spend money and connect. So we kind of connected like that. We, you know, changed numbers. We'll link up, kick it, you know. Of course, he broke bread. Yeah. So it was kind of one of them things.
So here, it's this thing on. Here's where I call into question. I start to see that Terica is giving in a softball alternate universe version of really what it is. As she talks more throughout this interview, you will more of the honesty comes out. But she says that her and Tim were dating. You don't date your Johns, your trick-offs, your F-boys. That's not dating. He was one of your regulars, to like call a thing a thing. And here, just now, she admits that every time that she saw him, he was breaking bread. And for those of you who don't understand what that means he was paying her every time he saw her. That is not a girlfriend. That is a streetwalker. It is what it is.
I really didn't give a care what he had going on as long as he broke bread with me. Right. So it was kind of like one of those things. So over the years, we dated, like, you know, we stayed in contact. I moved around, he moved around, and we'll link up when we linked up. So that's kind of like our situation, like friends with benefits. So
okay, gotcha. And then, so I know you said you had you had lived in St. Louis for a bit. So was that kind of like you were dealing with him when you was in St. Louis?
Well, actually, when I lived in St. Louis, it was more so I was on my money mission.
Right.
I wasn't really locked down by nobody. Like, so St. Louis just was like, it was like my money trap. So I moved there and lived for a couple of years, and then I moved back home. I stayed in Atlanta, just kind of move around. You be one just new atmospheres.
Right.
So it's kind of like one of those things.
Okay. All right. And then so around that time when, everything happened, so I know he had opened up a Sweetie Pies in Memphis. So were you living in Memphis at that time?
Yeah, see, he opened up a Sweetie Pies after the situation went on with his nephew. So I was living in Memphis, and Tim was living in California.
Right.
And he, they had Sweetie Pies in California. Yeah, in LA. So they had the Sweetie Pies up there, and I was living in Memphis or whatever. So I went down to St. Louis. I was back and forth dancing in St. Louis, and he came in town and hit me up or whatever, and I went and met up with him. But particularly, regular deal.
Yeah.
So, but this time, he was like, he was stressed out. He was in town because he was trying to find his nephew to get some money from him. His nephew had like $200,000 in money and jewelry from his mom's house.
Right.
So you said.
So I'm gonna get a breakdown of some of this because it's Terica, so she's telling the story. It's kind of a little choppy, and if you don't already know the background, you'll get a little lost. So what she's referring to in this moment is how her and Tim hooked up. Make sure I hit mute. How her and Tim hooked up and caused that day that she lured Andre out. So what actually happened was Tim was in LA. He was, he had the restaurant in LA. He was running that. I think, the two restaurants in LA. He was running that, or if both was open at that time. And he got word from Big Ed that Dre was in St. Louis. Also, Miss Robbie had told him, I think he knew Dre was in St. Louis. He just didn't know exactly where or something. But Big Ed ended up taking screenshots of Andre coming to visit one of the restaurants. Tim then immediately books himself a flight to St. Louis. He books the flight like sometime that evening. He lands in St. Louis literally like almost at midnight. He gets picked up by White Boy Chris. White Boy Chris takes him to go get his rental car, and then White Boy Chris trails Tim to the Chase Park Plaza Hotel, and mainly because he was acting as a pseudo bodyguard or security for Tim. Tim gets to the hotel. Tim immediately reaches out to Terica. He realized her numbers changed. Her number had changed. So he then reaches out to her, I think on Facebook or one of the social media platforms. She was in town in St. Louis dancing for the weekend. And he knew that because he saw her flyer. So he ends up connecting with her eventually. She responded to him on Facebook, gave him her new phone number. He then was like, hey, are you in town? I'm in town. You should come see me. I'm at the hotel, blah, 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 this and that. And he was like, what you doing? She said she was on her way back home to Memphis. It was the next morning. She then says, okay, I'm going to make a beeline. I'm going to come to you first. And then I'm going to go, home to Memphis. So she goes to the Chase Park Plaza Hotel that morning, like 9-10 in the morning. They do the do. Then he has this conversation that she's referring to about Andre allegedly, the story he keeps telling, Andre allegedly breaking in Miss Robbie's home and how he's looking for Andre so that he can hopefully recover the stolen goods and money. So that's where we are. See how she left all that out?
He was trying to look for his nephew because he had took $200
like $200K in jewelry and money. He stole it from his mom, from
Tim's mom.
Oh, damn.
Right.
I take issue with this again. I question why Terica is still going with this narrative when it was proven in court and literally the detectives on the witness stand said that they cleared Andre of having anything to do with Miss Robbie's break-in. The only people who keep saying after all these years that Andre broke in Miss Robbie's house is Tim, Miss Robbie, and now Terica. Well, and you know, the people who don't know no better. The police have cleared him. Plus, the rest of us know that Tim has something to do with it. Clearly, Tim was desperate for money. Tim put a hit out on his nephew for money. Maybe does she know? I mean, she wasn't in court necessarily that day, but she keeps telling the narrative, so it's her version is skewed.
So he was like,
and she's going off of the word of a criminal who orchestrated an M for hire plot. So let's keep that in mind. That's the only place she got this information from, and she thinks it's law. Although he lied to her and got her, in her words, lied to her and got her caught up in this mess. But with that part, she think he telling the truth. Oh,
okay. Like, you know how when you dealing with somebody, y'all just be talking about y'all life. Y'all just talking about everything, you know. So just talking. So he was like, you know, my little nutcase nephew, you know, that ran off with some money, you know, telling me what happened. So I was like, this crazy. So he was like, matter of fact, he showed me a picture of me. He like, hey, you see? I'm like, yeah. I met this little nigga a couple of weeks ago in the club. He was like, he was a rapper from Louisiana.
Damn.
And was asking me to do his video, be in his video and stuff. I was like, wow, this your nephew?
That's crazy.
So that's how that happened. So he was like, can you get in contact with him? I was like, he was just texting me. I'm sure I can text him on the number that he was texting me on. He was like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Do that for me or whatever. He was like, matter of fact, he was like, I'm going to give you 10 racks just for helping me because I need to get this money back for him. I know he ain't spent all of it.
Right.
I'm like, cool. You know what I'm saying? So
he offers her $10,000 to help her locate his nephew who may have stolen, in his words, stole from him. And she's like, cool. She don't question 10,000 or just call him? What? She don't question that. Cool. You're gonna see a theme through this interview where she was very money driven, very money hungry, would do anything for $1 kind of thing. Well, clearly based on some of the stuff she does as a career. But you get to see that running theme in everything that a lot of things that she says, where you see that money was her motivator in life in general. I mean, in a different way than it is for all of us who would just want to survive and pay our bills and live a certain lifestyle. And all, it's a little different. It's a little different. Like when it comes to money, her morality kind of, the line moves quite a bit.
So I hit him up. He responded back. And so Tim was like, all right, bet. He was like, matter of fact, he was like, let's go. He was like, let's go to Walgreens. I'm going to get a burner phone and give you that. So I'm thinking that he going to take the burner phone and have me talk to him on it. And he going to get it. And he going to finish talking to him. Well, you know, whatever the case might be. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking I done
really know what was going. You just, because you known him for a long time.
Yeah, so it's like, and then I never known him to be on no type of gangster stuff. Like he's... No, he wasn't on no gangster stuff like this. A TV restaurant, you know what I'm saying? Like
you didn't know it was gonna go that far.
Exactly, definitely not. So it was like a kind of like thing to where, you know, from Memphis, we have family members that's crackheads and you know, or just like badass family members that, like, I had a nephew that stole from me. He stole like 900.
Does she think that that's only relegated to Memphis? Like people having relatives who are addicted to drugs, or just people who are criminals or do nefarious things? Last time I checked, that's literally across the world. We all have a version of that story, or know some people who do.
Dollars.
She think it's unique to Memphis.
You didn't know it was gonna go that far.
Exactly, definitely not. So it was like a kind of like thing to where, you know, from Memphis, we have family members that's crackheads, and
Right.
you know, or just like badass family members that, like, I had a nephew that stole from me. He stole like $900 and hid it at my mama's house. So me and me and his mom went and picked him up from school and beat his ass and made him tell us. He still didn't tell us where the money is, so we threatened to call the police on him.
Right.
And he told, so it was like, I'm thinking it's a situation like this, like,
Yeah.
but it's 200 and something K, like, this different.
Yeah.
You know, these TV people, like, this a whole
And I
nother
heard, like,
level.
he broke into the house and took it, too.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
this a whole nother level. So I'm thinking, like, yeah, like, I would want to get my money back too.
Exactly.
So that's what I'm thinking. So he asked me to, like I said, he asked me to text with him and stuff. So then he ended up saying he need to go handle some business, and was like, find out where he gonna be at later. So I'm like, cool. So I'm texting with him or whatever. Tim asked me to find out where the nephew would be later because he had some business he needs to handle. Or whatever. So boom, I'm texting with him, and so I'm at the mall. He like, I'm getting ready for my video shoot. He like, can you pick up me a pair of pants or something? I was like, cool. That would secure me knowing where he was gonna be at anyways.
Right.
So I get the pants and I tell Tim, you know, I relate everything to him, what was going on. So I tell him, like, okay, so I'm finna go take him to pants. He like, bet.
So I told him I was gonna take him to Pantses. Pantses. Pantses? Pantses.
I tell Tim, you know, I relate everything to him, what was going on. So I tell him, like, okay, so I'm finna go take him to Pantses. He like, bet. He was like, call my partner because I'm out of pocket. Call my partner, he'll know what to do.
And with the partner, that ended up being the other dude that was on the
That
case.
ended up being the dude that killed him.
Okay.
So he like, call my
Kilt him. As in a skirt. A Scottish skirt. A kilt him.
partner, you know what I'm saying, give him the address. So I do that. So the partner tell me, let me know when you finna pull up. I'm like, okay, boom. I let him know I'm finna pull up. I pull up. Dre comes to the car and he get the pants. Boom, he like, what you about to do? I'm like, shit, I'm about to go back home to Memphis or whatever. He was like, boom, appreciate that. You
So
know
this
what
was
I'm
at the
saying?
studio where he was
This
at,
is at
right?
the studio where he was at. He was like, boom, appreciate that. I was like, all right, take care. I pull off. I make it to the light. I heard gunshots.
Oh, damn.
I'm like, what the fuck? But then this was
Okay, she also fast forwarded through the entire day. Again, she's telling a version of the story that makes her takes out all of the stuff that's like, nah, girl, you guilty. Let's keep in mind that after she Tim convinced her to lure Andre out, and then they ended up going to the Walgreens to get the burner phones. They then parted ways. She did say that Tim said he had something to take care of, so they parted ways. That's when he had a meeting with DJ Beats and whatever other shenanigans. And he was going to pick up money, do drops at pick up drops at the restaurants, stealing money from his Robbie, basically. Because he said that when he would go to do the drops at the restaurants, he would take anywhere from $10,000 to $30,000 in cash to pocket each time at each restaurant. So anyway, that's what he went to do. He then sent her, she went to the mall, the St. Louis Galleria Mall, to waste time until Tim told her that his boys are ready. So then she's communicating with Andre. He says he's at the La Quinta Inn. Tim is like, okay, fine, go there, whatever. She goes there. She tells Tim he's there. She's confirming that Andre is there. And then Tim says, well, my boys ain't ready yet. Find out where he's going to be later. So then I forgot which some of this is fresh and not fresh. But anyway, so later that evening around 7, Tim says, my boys are ready. Find out where he's at. She then, Andre then tells her that he is at the studio on Natural Bridge, which is a home studio in the basement of that building on Natural Bridge. She's like, okay, I'm going to come over there to bring you your pencils. Where can I come to bring you your pencils? And then he's like, oh, I'm over here at the studio. You at the studio? You at the studio? So he then, she then goes there. Andre comes out to the car. He's literally in the car less than 2-3 minutes. I hand him the pencils. He say, where I'm going? I say, I'm going home to Memphis. So let's see where she, but anyway, so she fast forwarded all through that she was stalking him, that she started out her day at somewhere around 10 a.m., 9 to 10 a.m. with Tim, doing the do, and then he puts her on that mission. She didn't meet up with Andre for his ultimate demise until 8 p.m. Andre was unalived at somewhere like 8:03 or 8:06 p.m. I'm forgetting the exact time, but somewhere up in there. She leaving that out because that tells you a little something different than the way she making it like, yeah, he wanted us to get behind the phones, and I thought he was just gonna call him and tell him come give me the money. She leaving out that she stalked the boy all day. 12 hours, basically. She leaving out that.
On Natural Bridge,
So
you always hear
gunshots on
Natural Bridge. Like my little girl used to be a cheerleader on the team, and they used to practice in that park, and gunshots gonna pop off. This Natural Bridge, this the hood, this North, you know what I'm saying, North St. Louis, like this the hood, this where Sex and Red from.
Yeah,
this
sure.
the hood. You hear me?
Right.
So I'm like, hold up, shit, but it didn't feel right. So I called Tim. I'm like, I just heard gunshots. He like, go home. Don't say nothing to nobody. Go home. I'm like, what the fuck? At this point, my heart beating faster than a motherfucker. But see, I had a dude at the time. And like, me and my dude was living together, everything. So I called my dude, like, when I pulled out from the hotel with Tim, when we was on the way to go get the phones, I called my dude and told him everything that was going on and asked him for his advice. He was like, you trust the nigga? I was like, I've been fucking with the nigga for years. He ain't never been on no bullshit, like, you know what I'm saying? And he was like, well, we thinking he really trying to get the money.
Right, because if you know, and
so we can't quite gloss over this part where we discover that during this time, when Terica was doing leasing of her body to Tim Whitehip Norman, she had a boyfriend back home in Memphis. Now remember, she was only coming to St. Louis weekly. Over the weekend, I think it was Thursday through Sunday, she would come, or Friday through Sunday. She would come to St. Louis to make money on the pole. Then she would go right back home. So she comes to do that particular weekend, and she had a man at home. And when Tim asked her to chase down Andre, she calls her man, which I don't know. Maybe some people use man and pimp interchangeably. Boyfriend and pimp, man and pimp. It sounds like pimping to me. Because he knew she was with Tim. He knew that she was with Tim to make money for the romping around. And then she calls him to get permission. She ain't saying it that way, but the truth. Let's tell the truth and shame the devil. She calls him to get permission. Daddy, can I do more? I'm sorry, I got the wrong voice. Daddy, I got my money, but now he want me to go get some burner foam, and then he want me to look for his nephew. And he's like, well, what does Ninja be on? He good to me, Daddy. I know him from some years, and now I think I could trust him. So he's like, we're gonna make that money, because he gonna give me $10,000 for my boutique. So he's like, we're gonna make that money. And she, yes, Daddy. She acting like this. Anyway, let me tell this story. I mean, let's clean it up however we need to clean. Let's alternate creating the narrative, as so many people do.
Gunshots gonna pop off. This natural breed, this the hood. This North, you know what I'm saying, North St. Louis, like this the hood. This where Sex and Red from.
Yeah,
this
sure.
the hood, you hear me?
Right.
So I'm like, hold up, shit. But it didn't feel right. So I called Tim. I'm like, I just heard gunshots. He like, go home. Don't say nothing to nobody. Go home. I'm like, what the fuck? At this point, my heart beating faster than a motherfucker. But see, I had a dude at the time. And like me and my dude was living together, everything. So I called my dude, like, when I pulled out from the hotel with Tim, when we was on the way to go get the phones, I called my dude and told him everything that was going on and asked him for his... I'm sorry, I got it wrong. My dude is code for my pimp. His advice. He was like, you trust the nigga? I was like, I've been fucking with the nigga for years. He ain't never been on no bullshit, like, you know what I'm saying? And he was like, well, we thinking he really trying to get the money.
Right, because if you know, and
that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Nah, for sure.
That's a lot of money. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, for real.
That's a lot of money.
Whew, that's
not nothing to just be like,
yeah. So that's a lot of money. So I'm thinking like he want his money. I'm thinking like maybe he'll have him followed or something. You know what I'm saying? Lay low, follow him, find out. You know what I'm saying? Roll up on him. You know what I'm saying? Like, man,
scare him, try to
scare him. You know what I'm saying? Let me get that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking. That's what my mind going.
I think anybody will think like that.
So that's what my mind. But when I called him, and he tells me,
let me close out this poll question. After hearing Terica's voice here in this interview, do you think that my impression of her has been on point? 87% of you say yes, it's on point. 13% of you are haters. And it's okay. I love y'all. Still the same. The host just said that anybody could find themselves in that situation. Do you agree with that? I thought I had the poll question for that, though. Maybe not. Do you agree? Just let me know in the chat. Do you agree that anybody could find themselves in this particular situation?
Me, don't say nothing to nobody and go home. I was already going home anyway.
And you being from Memphis,
but
you know what that
I'm
means.
like, hold up, wait a minute. So I get home. He told me to get rid of the phone too. He told me to get rid of the phone.
You already know, but stop right there. By you being from Memphis, when you get to hearing all this,
So
you
I'm
like, oh,
hold
this
up.
some other shit.
So I called my dude. I'm on my way home. How did you when I get home? Right? At this point, I did 100 getting to Memphis.
Yeah.
I had a little Acura. I did 100 getting to Memphis.
And you come from St. Louis.
Exactly. So I get home. I probably made it to Memphis in about 3 hours.
Yeah.
You hear me? So I made
beating the whole time.
Man, the whole time. So I get home. My dude, I look at the news. He like, man, that fuck nigga. That fuck nigga got you on that bullshit, that fuck nigga. You know, he was so mad. You know what I'm saying? I'm mad too. I'm like, man.
So did your boyfriend know you was dealing with him too? Like,
man, my nigga
to get
was,
money, you know,
of
since
course.
Exactly.
We a team.
Exactly. That's what's
We
up.
a team. We getting this money, bringing it, coming together. We a team.
That's some real shit.
We a team. Absolutely, my man knew it. We a team. That's your pimp, girl. I don't care what you say. That's a pimp. He not only is not, and some people, some of y'all even, I'm sure, have open relationships and stuff. No judgment, to each his own. Do what works for you. But even in your open, for those of you who may be in open relationships, even if your partner knows that you're out there having fun with somebody else, they're not also expecting there to be a financial exchange, a transaction, a financial transaction occurring for said event. That's called being a hoe, a prostitute. And the man who's sitting at home, laid up, waiting for you to come back with the money, is the pimp. You being pimp. Nah, VLB, we a team. He know what I'm doing, and he say we a team. What part is he playing? You gotta do all the grimy, dirty work. You gotta put your mouth and your body on Tim Norman. Oh Jesus, that's the hard work. He's just sitting there directing you from the phone, from another state. That ain't teamwork. He need to do some work on Wide Hip Tim. Help you out.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I had been fucking with him since I was like 17 years old.
Mm.
And I started dancing at 16. So like,
So
we had been on and off for years. Like, he used to take me back when I was young. We used to pull up on dudes, and you know what I'm saying? He'd take me to meet old men and get some. We would always just.
You see how she cutting herself out? He used to take me to get to dudes and take me to get old men. Then she cut it all off. Terica, that's not your dude. That's your pimp.
And so I'm like, man.
So did your boyfriend know you was dealing with him too? Like,
Man, my
to
nigga
get
was,
money? You know,
of
since
course.
all his school?
Exactly.
We a team.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's what's
We
up.
a team. We getting this money, bringing it, coming together. We a team.
That's some real shit.
That's you know what I'm saying? Like, I had been fucking with him since I was like 17 years old.
So he's been pimping her out since she was 17 years old.
And I started dancing at 16. So like,
So
we had been on and off for years. Like, he used to take me back when I was young. We used to pull up on dudes, and you know what I'm saying? He'd take me to meet old men and get some. We were.
Does pulling up mean robbing? Because I thought I'm gonna pull up on you is like a violent kind of thing. Like, I'm gonna pull up on you either means I'm gonna pull up on you to hurt you, or I pulled up on them can also be robbing. But am I wrong? Is there another meaning? Does pull up also mean it's a John situation? F buddy? Like, help me. I'm a little lost.
I always just said I was been a team my whole life. Like, you know what I'm saying? We had a bond. Like,
Are you still with him?
nah. I'm gonna tell you, after that, my mind started playing tricks on me.
It
Like,
can.
seriously.
Yeah.
Because now I done got caught up in this. I don't know what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
For a nigga to have his own nephew killed, and I know about it. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what's gonna go on.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, with anything, with the police, with anything. Like, I don't know nothing. All I know is it's survival mode.
Nah,
But
for
I
sure.
gotta play this nigga close.
Yeah.
Because we had already talked about me coming to LA, because I was getting ready to open up a boutique.
Yeah.
I had got a building on Lamar in Airways.
Yeah, because I was getting ready to open a boutique. She loved to get that. She got to get that out. Boutique.
So I was going to LA to the fashion district. He had put me up on the fashion district. Like, he used to put me up on a lot of stuff. You know, as far as like, you know, getting legit money and, you know, because I wanted to stop dancing and, you know, change my life around. But shit, I ain't gonna lie, that shit took me deeper. Like, I started drinking more. I started wilding. Like, I started hanging with goons.
Yeah.
Because at this point, I need protection.
You were scared.
I was scared.
So that, okay, because I want them to know everything. So you get home to your dude mad. So y'all look on the news, nephew dead.
Right.
So till you throw the phones away, when do you get, in that process, in that 2-week process, like, did you hear from him again?
Of course, I ended up, like I said, I had already had plans to go to LA, like within probably like a week after
You
it
said you
happened.
was playing it close.
Right, so I had already was on, you know what I'm saying? So I get to LA, and I meet up with him at the restaurant, but I got my mom and my daughter with me, so I know you ain't gonna do nothing with me. We in a public restaurant. We was like in a busy. We was like at this real popular seafood restaurant. So we go, we sit down, we ain't talk about nothing. I think he just was trying to feel my vibe, you know, because that's the only time I saw him. And I was in LA probably a week with, you know, with my mom. Then we going to, you know, visit the beaches downtown, you know, just excuse me. Ooh, Lord. Vacationing and business because I had to get a whole lot of inventory and stuff. Excuse me. So after that, I didn't talk to Tim for a while. You know,
what's a while?
Probably a few months.
Okay.
But he contacted me and he told me stay out of St. Louis. Like a couple. He was like stay out of St. Louis. But how you expect to get somebody $10,000 and put them in a predicament like that and think they supposed to be able to? That's where I made my money at, St. Louis. You know what I'm saying? You can't expect me to stay out of St. Louis. Matter of fact, I don't even think it was no couple months. It probably was like probably a month or so later, like, you know. But he hit me up. He was like, stay out of St. Louis. You got a warning for questioning on your name. He was like playing the case close. By him being the uncle, he knew every details and everything that was going on with the case.
Because they coming to him.
Because they coming to him and the mom. You know what I'm saying? They coming to him. And the mama was already telling him, talk to him about any and everything anyways. Like, as far as that's how he knew Andre was even in St. Louis. Because the mom told him. But see, I didn't find out all of this until after I got arrested. So it's a lot I didn't find out until the feds picked me up.
So you going by your life, and people don't know how stressful this thing hanging over your head. You see what I'm saying? Like, people say you thinking about it every day. Every day. Police car, you see a car, you thinking they finna come. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it was one of them things you want to forget. It's like you want to forget it happened. Like, you want to, like, you drowning with liquor and stuff. Like, you know, you just try to, you pray to God. First of all, I pray to God. I'm a friend. All my life, I'm a God-fearing woman. And I don't even believe in, you know what I'm saying, nobody else taking nobody else's life. It ain't never that serious.
Yeah, it's not.
It ain't never that serious. I feel like God gives life and he takes life. You know what I'm saying?
No, for sure.
That's God's power. Who are we to do that?
No,
you know what I'm
for sure.
saying? So it was really messed up. You know, it messed me up. Like, and then to continue to have to talk to this person every now and then just to keep them on the up and up. Because if you killed your nephew and I know about it, what the fuck would you do to me?
So, and I'm glad you said that. Was it like something in your mind, like, man, he trying to see if I'm going to say something, he going to try to hurt me, type stuff like that?
Yeah. So I started dancing in Alabama.
Okay.
So I switched it up and I started dancing in Alabama. And then I met my little girl father. I have a small kid. She's 6.
That's what's up.
So I met her dad, and I, you know, started messing with him and dating him. And so, like, Tim, you know, he kind of backed up. Like, you know how men don't say, no, you're in a relationship. They kind of keep their distance. So it was kind of one of them things. But he hit me up a couple times, and he was like, I see you live in Atlanta. You know, he watched me. Like, he's basically stalked my social media. So he was like, I see you in Atlanta. And I was like, yeah, you know, casual conversation.
Atlanta or Alabama?
So my little girl dad is from Alabama and lived in Alabama, but we got a house in Atlanta. So we used to be kind of like back and forth. Yeah, one of those things. So he kind of like backed up, you know. I ended up getting pregnant and stuff, and I ended up leaving my little girl's dad and moved back to Memphis. So when I did that, after I had her, I got it, and Tim called me. You know, he checked my temperature, whatever. So after I had her, I opened up a salon, and he opened up a Sweetie Pies across the street from my salon
In Memphis.
in Memphis.
Right.
So he's
On Beale Street.
No.
Wasn't this
Hickory Hill.
restaurant like at the? Because it was one. I think that one never opened. I
It
think he was
never
trying to
opened.
Yeah.
It never opened. He had one on Bill Street, but it never opened.
Mm-hmm.
But I had a little in them little suites on Hickory Hill in Night Honor.
Mm-hmm.
I had a salon in there because I do lashes and teeth whitening and wigs and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
So he ended up opening up a Sweetie Pies across the street. And he contacted me up. He hit me up. He was like, yeah, I got a restaurant across the street from your salon. And I'm like, how the hell you even, you know, like, oh, wow. So he started, like, really, like, contacting me then. Because I, you know what I'm saying, I didn't have no, you know what I'm saying, I was single.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, he was really, like, slick contacting me. And I, you know, talked to him for a few minutes, come across the street to Sweetie Pies. And we'll just talk for a few minutes. And he'll let me know what all he got going on. And it'll be that on that. So he started trying to get me to get my family to run his business because he started saying Bruce, his homeboy, was stealing from him. He said,
So that was T. That was kind of shocking the first time I watched it. That his bestie, Bruce, who I don't think I have a picture handy of Bruce, but his BFF Bruce, who was actually on the show and had went to LA to help run that the train car restaurant, and Bruce, who actually took the witness stand to say how amazing Tim was as a person and how they went to Andre's funeral. They drove down to the funeral and they had as security, and they had blinkies. They had blinkies, and come to find out, Tim ratting you to Terica years before that, saying you a thief. So I don't know if they cool. I mean, I'm assuming they. I don't know. Well, I don't know if they still cool, but they were cool through the right, and the vest. Thank you, Sugar Spice, and they had the bulletproof vest. This is all after he told Terica that Bruce was a thief, stealing from him. Tim is a manipulator, though. Danielle Champion, who played his assistant on the show, and come to find out she was an actress. She said how Tim would lie and manipulate situations, lie on people, set people up to be mad at each other, whatever. It was almost like he was a puppet master. I can believe that he may have been lying, possibly on Bruce, to get her to convince her mom and family to come run the restaurant for whatever reason. Tim is dirty like that. Clearly.
He hit me up. He was like, yeah, I got a restaurant across the street from your salon. And I'm like, how the hell you even, you know, like, oh, wow. So he started, like, really, like, contacting me then. Because I, you know what I'm saying, I didn't have no, you know what I'm saying, I was single.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, he was really, like, slick contacting me. And I, you know, talked to him for a few minutes, come across the street to Sweetie Pies. And we'll just talk for a few minutes. And he'll let me know what all he got going on. And it'll be that on that. So he started trying to get me to get my family to run his business because he started saying Bruce, his homeboy, was stealing from him. He said Bruce was stealing from him and stuff like that. So I was disgusted with him, to be honest. Like, you know, but I couldn't show my truth.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You can't let nobody know, like,
how you feel.
And where your feelings on your sleeve.
Right. So, so he started trying to get me to get my mom and my cousin them to take over his Sweetie Pies. I'm like, my mama like, hell nah. Like, nah, we ain't doing it. You know what I'm saying? So I go back to St. Louis. He's mad at this point.
How long to the timeline for they'll know? How long?
Okay, so it happened in 2016.
Okay.
So now we're in 2019.
So, okay. There
So 2016 it happened. 2017 I got pregnant.
Okay.
And had my baby in 2017. So this got to be in 2018. No, we're in 2018.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
So we're in 2018 at this point. And so we're going into 2019.
Okay.
And I started back going to St. Louis because at the end of the day,
You gotta get your money.
I gotta get my money. You know, so I went to St. Louis, and he called mad. At this point, he was furious. Like, didn't I tell you to stay out of St. Louis? I'm like, this fuck nigga. Like, I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. So I get back home to Memphis, and
So now he's an F ninja. But when she first started at the beginning of this interview, remember she was saying that her and Tim dated. I mean, they do call it a date when they meet up with a F boy for the transaction. They will say, "Oh, I got a date. I'll be back in 10 minutes. I got this date I gotta handle." So I guess she wasn't lying. This kind of omission of the facts.
I had someone come into my house. Somehow my garage got broken. And someone came into my house. I was in the bathroom getting ready to take my daughter to the doctor. And I looked up, and it was a man standing in my bathroom door with a hoodie on and a gun pointed at me. I was like, I just started talking to God. I can't even tell you. It was like it was replaying in my head. And so my little baby woke up crying. She was like 1. So she woke up crying. And then the guy took off running out the house. Didn't take nothing or nothing.
As soon as you get back.
As soon as I get back. So I called.
So this is a story. I've actually told this story before. Over the years, we've been covering this story. And there was an actual video of Terica telling this. I think it was like an IG live or whatever. But she actually told this story as like a testimony. I have no idea what a video is. I'm hoping I run across it again. Like, I know I saved it. I just have no idea where it's at. But my poll question that I just put out is, do you think that Tim tried to have Terica unalived? Because she says that she met up with him. He had told her to stay out of St. Louis because she was a person of interest for this case. She then at a certain point was like, I got to make money. I got to go where I'm making my money at, and that's in St. Louis. And she started going back there. He finds out, and he's like, stay out of St. Louis. And then all of a sudden, she goes back home in Memphis, and then she got somebody, masked, armed man coming in her house to clearly rob, unalive, or whatever, but then nothing happens. Do you think that Tim, James Timothy Norman, was behind that?
I'm my best friend. And I got the hell out of Memphis. I packed up and I left my nice ass house in Cordova and went to Houston.
And then he had a restaurant in Houston.
So I didn't see him in Houston. I didn't see him in Houston.
Damn.
I didn't see him in Houston. I think I talked to him on the phone a couple times or whatever. But I didn't never see him in Houston. I talked to him on the phone a couple times. But I wasn't in Houston long. I just got my money up, grind up, and got me a house in Atlanta.
Okay.
And I went back to Atlanta.
Okay.
So I go back to Atlanta. I stayed in Atlanta. Everything was fine.
So is this all in 2019?
This is all in 2019.
Okay.
So I go to Atlanta. I stay in Atlanta for a little while. But some kept telling me just to go back home to Memphis. I went back home to Memphis. It's still in 2019. Because it was like I was having issue with my kids. Like my youngest had sickle cell. And then my oldest was a teenager. And she was like giving me issues.
Right.
So I needed some family support.
Right.
You know.
Exactly.
And then I found myself running up and down the highway. From Alabama. I would like drive all the way to Alabama, dance, and drive all the way back to Atlanta. And I was drinking so much. When I say I drank so much in those years to just try to like
bury the stuff in your
just
head.
like bury everything. It was, you know, and I ended up being in a real bad car accident. Drinking and driving, you know what I'm saying, fell asleep at the wheel.
Damn.
And I knew then, I was like, hey, something gotta change.
Something gotta change, yeah.
I was like, something gotta change.
Man.
Something got to. So I went back.
Why is she doing all this moving around? Why is it so hard for her to find stripping gigs in her same location? Why she got to cross state lines by far to make money? Does that mean she's not good? Like, I'm confused. I'm so confused with like, then I was dancing in Memphis, but I lived in Atlanta. Then I started dancing in Atlanta, and then I was living in New York. Like, what? Why can't you live where you dance? I'm so lost.
To Memphis, and I started working at my god sister tax office. So I was working at her tax office, and then I was like, this ain't it either. So I hit my homegirl up, and I was like, you know, went and started doing lashes and teeth whitening and stuff at her shop, at her salon. And so things started taking off to where I ain't even have to go dance no more. And then COVID hit.
Oh, damn.
But when COVID hit,
That money came in.
That's how it was
because
for
it
us.
was like,
You know, you gonna pull
exactly,
up,
like
bag
I
it
was
up.
literally doing lashes and stuff in my mom's sunroom. I was like selling detox tea.
It was booming.
Shapers. Like I literally was making like $1,900 a day. Like I was booming 900, 800. Like I was booming.
That shit was crazy one.
Like crazy. Then the feds come knocking on my door. But you know what? Hold on, let me rewind. Let me go back. So I'm telling you, okay, so it's COVID going on and we booming, right? I end up taking my babies to the water park. So, of course, old boy watches everything I do on social media. So he DM'd me and he was like, I see you in Mississippi. At this point, he's in Mississippi. He's in Jackson, Mississippi, posted up. So he hit me up or whatever, and I'm like, yeah. So he like, pull up on the restaurant and come see me, right? So I go and see him at the restaurant. So when I go see him at the restaurant, he was acting like he was just so happy to see me. So he called his mom and was like, guess who here? Guess who here? Or whatever. And he like, Alexis. Mind you, that's
that's your alias?
That's my dance name.
Okay.
Alexis is my dance name. So I'm like, why would he tell her Alexis when Alexis is who they was looking for,
Right.
with the situation with his nephew.
Right.
So I'm like, at this point I'm thinking she had something to do with it, cause I'm like. And she was so happy to talk to me, like she not be like that. Like I only seen you a couple times at your restaurant.
Right.
Like be for real.
Did y'all catch that? I'm rewind it as I change poll questions, and I'm gonna let y'all hear it again. For those of you who might have been sidetracked, or you got a family member or baby, one of your kids talking to you during this moment, you can't miss this. You can't miss that. Poll question, we're closing out. Do you think that Tim tried to have Terica unalive? 70% of you think he has something to do with that masked person. I sound like her now. That masked person coming in my house. The masked person coming in her home. 30% of you say, no, he ain't had nothing to do with that. Y'all sound like Miss Robbie. He ain't do nothing. Not my Tim. Poll question going out now. Based on what Terica just said, now VLB, I'm just playing the video. Do you agree with Terica? Do you think that Miss Robbie is involved on some level with this situation? Not involved as in she just happens to be the grandma, but involved in the nefarious side of this situation. Do you believe it? Terica said she found it very strange because some of y'all ain't getting what she putting down. What Terica is telling y'all is that while they were still looking for the people or persons involved with the unaliving of Andre Montgomery, she went to go see Tim at the restaurant. Miss Robbie happened to be there. Tim is like, hey, mama, look who here. It's Alexis Da Great, which was her exotic dancer name, and also the only name that the police knew and were looking for. Because in Andre's phone, the last number, the last person he talked to was his best friend, a male best friend, and a female that he had in his phone as Alexis Da Great. Miss Robbie knew from day one when his life was taken that the police were trying to figure out who Alexis Da Great was. So what Terica is telling us is you fast forward a couple years while they're still looking for who Alexis is. Tim says, hey, mama, here's Alexis. And Miss Robbie, instead of saying, oh my God, I'm gonna call the police. She's like, baby, how you doing? Oh, it's so, how you get your chicken yet? You want some blah, blah, blah? How you been? How you doing? And she like, girl, what you doing? I don't even know you. And shouldn't you be suspicious? He introducing you to an Alexis, and you know they looking for an Alexis. I don't know. Some of y'all probably ain't get what she was putting down. And she was there. So she getting vibes and energy that you and I ain't getting just from her words. Because she clearly is not articulate. But let's go with it. Let's see. Listen again. See what you get this time.
I was like, I went and started doing lashes and teeth whitening and stuff at her shop, at her salon. And so things started taking off to where I ain't even have to go dance no more. And then COVID hit.
Oh, damn.
But when COVID hit,
that money came in.
That's how it was. Because it was like, exactly like I was literally doing lashes and stuff in my mom's sunroom. I was like selling.
Hold on.
Some got to. So I went back to Memphis and I started working in my god sister tax office. So I was working in her tax office. And then I was like, this ain't it either. So I hit my homegirl up, and I was like, I went and started doing lashes and teeth whitening and stuff at her shop, at her salon. And so things started taking off to where I ain't even have to go dance no more. And then COVID hit.
Oh, damn.
But when COVID hit,
that money came in.
That's how it was. Because it was like, exactly like I was literally doing lashes and stuff in my mom's sunroom. I was like selling detox tea.
It was booming.
Shapers. Like I literally was making like $1,900 a day. Like I was booming 900, 800.
Hold on, I lost my place.
And then he had a restaurant in Houston.
Okay, here we go.
So I ain't see him in Houston.
Oh, no. It's a little further back. Here we
At
go.
this point, he was furious. Like, didn't I tell you to stay out of St. Louis? I'm like, this fuck nigga. Like, I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. So I get back home to Memphis and replaying in my head. And so my little baby woke up crying. She was like 1. So she woke up crying. And then the guy took off running out the house.
It's so hard to track on here.
To just try to like
bury the stuff in your
just
head.
like bury everything. It was, and I ended up being in a real bad car accident. Drinking and driving. I fell asleep at the wheel.
Damn.
And I knew then, I was like, okay, something gotta change.
Something gotta change, yeah.
I was like, something gotta change.
Man.
Something got to. So I went back to Memphis and I started working at my god sister tax office. So I was working at her tax office. And then I was like, this ain't it either. So I hit my homegirl up. And I was like, went and started doing lashes and teeth whitening and stuff at her shop, at her salon. And so things started taking off to where I ain't even have to go dance no more. And then COVID hit.
Oh, damn.
But when COVID hit,
that money came in.
That's how it was.
Because it was like,
you know,
exactly, like I was literally doing lashes and stuff in my mom's sunroom. I was like selling detox tea.
It was booming.
Shapers. Like I literally was making like $1,900 a day. Like I was booming 900, 800. Like I was booming.
That shit was crazy one.
Like crazy. Then the feds come knocking on my door. But you know what? Hold on, let me rewind. Let me go back. So I'm telling you, okay, so it's COVID going on and we booming, right? I end up taking my babies to the water park. So, of course, old boy watches everything I do on social media. So he DM'd me and he was like, I see you in Mississippi. At this point, he's in Mississippi. He's in Jackson, Mississippi, posted up. So he hit me up or whatever, and I'm like, yeah. So he like pull up on the restaurant and come see me, right? So I go and see him at the restaurant. So when I go see him at the restaurant, he was acting like he was just so happy to see me. So he called his mom and was like, guess who here? Or whatever. And he like Alexis. Mind you, that's
your alias?
That's my dance name.
Okay.
Alexis is my dance name.
Sorry, it took me so long to find out where we left off. It's because her story's jumping all around, so it threw me off. I thought I had passed it, and I hadn't passed it. So this is the moment I'm talking about, where she's saying why she thinks that Miss Robbie's hands ain't clean. It was very suspicious to her.
Guess who here? Or whatever. And he like Alexis. Mind you, that's
your alias?
That's my dance name.
Okay.
Alexis is my dance name. So I'm like, why would he tell her Alexis when Alexis is who they was looking for,
right?
With the situation with his nephew,
right?
So I'm like, at this point I'm thinking she had something to do with it, cause I'm like. And she was so happy to talk to me, like, she not be like that. Like, I only seen you a couple times at your restaurant.
Right.
Like, be for real. So, boom, I say something to him about it. I said, you know, what's going on with the situation? I've never said nothing to him since the day that it happened.
Yeah, because you kind of spooked and you just
I've never
don't want to
said
talk
that.
about
So, this time, I said something to him. I said, he was like, oh, everything good. Like, it's over with. He like, everything good, it's over with. So I'm like, okay. I go back home or whatever. Literally a few weeks later, I heard boom, 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 boom at my door. I'm like, who is it? It's the FBI. I said, you got the wrong house. They're like, no, we got a warrant for your arrest, Terica Ellis. Open up.
That's crazy. Was your kids home when this happened?
My heart dropped. My heart dropped. My kids was home. It was just me and my kids, of course. And they was like asking about my phone and stuff. Like, where your phone and stuff at? Get dressed, you coming with us. Call somebody to get your kids. So I had my baby call my mom. And she called my mom. She was like 16. So my oldest was 16 and my little baby was 2. And so they took me down to, I was staying in Olive Branch. So they took me to like one of the police precincts in Mississippi. Oh my God, I was like petrified. So one of the detectives was in the back and he was talking to me. And he was just like, we see you doing this, we see you doing this. So he started bringing up like outfits my baby had on stuff. I said, that must have
Just
cost
letting
a whole
you
lot
know
of
that they've
money.
been watching you the whole
watching
time.
me. Let me know they've been watching me. Whatever.
Wow. Did he say how long he was watching you for?
They didn't say how long. They didn't say how long at all.
But you could probably imagine about the things that he was telling you that he saw.
Yep. But see, they had it all wrong though, because they thought I just went in and just set this dude up like they thought I knew him. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
they thought I had knew him. Just like they thought it was really on some for my man type shit. And that wasn't even the case.
So when they pick you up for their no, did
Closing out this poll question, do you agree with Terica? Do you think that Miss Robbie is involved on some level? 58% of you say yes, you do. 42% of you say no. That tells me that half of y'all have missed quite a bit of information that has gotten out, and you definitely don't know the information I know. Leave it at that. Oh, Terica just mentioned that they thought they had to. They had my story wrong. They thought I was on some For My Man-ish. I was like, oh, she saw the episode of For My Man, clearly. Because that ain't something that that don't come out of normal conversation. For My Man-ish. Poll question that I just put out. Do you think that Terica saw the For My Man episode? Based on her just saying that. Do you think that she saw it? And for those of you, I see some questions here in the chat. I'm starring them. So at the end, I'm not going to interrupt this to read comments. So at the end, I will read through those questions and answer them and give my other commentary based on your comments and stuff. So I will get to the comments at the end after this video is over. After her conversation, because this ain't really an interview, because they just going with whatever she say.
We see you doing this, we see you doing this. So he started bringing up like outfits my baby had on stuff. I said, that must have
Just
cost
letting
a whole lot
you know
of
that they've
money.
been watching you the whole time.
Me. Let me know they've been watching me. Whatever.
Wow. Did he say how long he was watching you for?
They didn't say how long. They didn't say how long at all.
But you could probably imagine about the things that he was telling you that he saw.
Yep. But see, they had it all wrong though, because they thought I just went in and just set this dude up like they thought I knew him. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
they thought I had knew him. Just like they thought it was really on some For My Man type shit. And that wasn't even the case.
So when they pick you up for their no, did Tim get picked up too?
Afterwards, he did.
He got picked up.
I got picked up first.
So let me ask you this: are you locked? Did they lock you up and hold y'all?
They locked me up.
Okay, cool.
I didn't. Yeah, I was locked up until the case was over.
So did you?
So how long was that?
31 months.
Ooh.
So let me ask you this: did you hear from him while you was in there?
Nope.
So was he locked up the same time you were locked up?
Yeah, I said they picked him up.
So I'm saying because you asked if he heard from him, so he was locked up too.
Yeah.
So she couldn't hear from him because they both was locked up.
You still can hear from him?
Yeah, you still can hear from people.
But he probably don't want to talk on the phone.
Nah, because at the
Did he
end
send a message?
he could have sent a message.
He probably ain't trying to say like too much.
At this point, I felt like he could have told them people that this girl ain't know what was going on. Like,
So y'all go to trial. He's in there, you in there. Did you have to tell them everything that you telling us right now?
I did. I literally had to go into complete details though. But when they first got me though, they literally thought the worst of me. Like they was like, you're facing death penalty, life in prison. You're never gonna see your kids again. It was crazy. A bunch of officers all over the place. It was so scary because Like, I danced for all those years, and of course, when you dance, you gonna run into so many D-boys. Like, I danced in Detroit, New York. I'm talking about I danced all over the world. And so, like, I used to stay having dudes asking me to, take work down the highway. And I'm like, yeah, I'm just going to dance and get my money. Like, nah, nah, I ain't going to put my life on the line like that. So it's like, now here I am facing the one thing that I feared is going to jail. Like,
it's in your face right now.
And then, none of that, not being able to be a mother to my kids. My kids are my world. My kids are my reason for living. So, like, now I got these two things. Like, not only am I locked up, you know what I'm saying, I'm away from my babies.
Yeah.
So
31 months is a long time.
Yeah, but you know what? I was praying for 10 years. I was praying to get 10 years at the best 5.
Yeah, because they sure going to try to steal go.
My charge was conspiracy, murder for hire. That's worse than murder.
Sure is.
That's life. I was literally standing in front of a judge, and he was telling me, like, you're facing death penalty.
That's crazy.
I literally used to go in the courtroom, and I used to be shaking. Like, I'm kind of shaking now just talking about it.
Just thinking about
That's a
it.
lot. Shit.
So
Man.
when y'all in court, you saying your piece and telling your part, you know what I'm saying? Because like you said, they had made you as a monster. Because when I first heard the story, when people tell me the story, they like, the guy with sweetie pies, yada, yada, yada. And then they always say, it was a girl from Memphis that set it up. You know what I'm saying? Like, this around the world. Everybody know this story.
Around the world.
But it always ends, the bad person is you. I'm going to keep it G. Like,
I already know.
They like, man, the girl from Memphis. And the first thing they say, the Memphis bitches. Yeah.
And you know what's so crazy, though? Is, like, all this time I dance, like, I've been around so many motherfuckers, like, and my dad, my blood dad was a pimp. You know what I'm saying? He used to have hoes pickpocketing niggas for Rolexes.
Nah, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? I ain't never been on that. I believe in karma.
Nah, for sure.
Karma is real. I just want to hustle and get my money.
Me
That's
too.
it.
That's why you
I don't want shit that don't belong to me.
Nah, for real.
You know what I'm saying? Karma is real.
For real.
So, like, all that time dancing and being around motherfuckers, I used to even have to tell bitches, hey, don't do that around me.
For real.
I was with a bitch one time, and she was mad the nigga didn't give her money. She was finna take something. I said, nah, around me, you not. You know what I'm saying? So I believe in karma for
sure.
real. So, like, in the end,
I believe in commas. when I'm writing, I believe in commas.
that's what was persuaded. You know what I'm saying? And everybody gonna have their opinion.
Yeah.
But my truth saved me.
Boom.
Because the government don't play no games. They don't give a fuck about no money or your life.
No.
They want their time.
Nah, for sure.
So if you did this shit, and that's what it is, them people want their time.
Nah, for sure.
So my first offer was 25 years.
That's crazy.
And you could have signed for that.
My first offer was 25 years. I had 4 lawyers. The government assigned me 4 lawyers because I was facing death penalty. Then they dropped one. I had a whole team of lawyers. But I was like, man, look, I got to get my own lawyer. Fuck them, you know what I'm saying? I got to get because they kept saying, tell us more, you know more. Because at this point, they didn't even have a shooter. Because I didn't know the shooter.
I remember they came out like way later.
They didn't even know, you know what I'm saying? They literally had to work because I only knew what I knew. I didn't know much. I didn't know nothing about no insurance policy.
So
I didn't know nothing about none of the details.
So he never, in the process of this trial going on, he never said, hey, she had nothing to do with this.
Never. He actually tried to say that me and the nephew stole the money. He tried to say me and the nephew stole the money.
Man.
And me and the killer got together to kill the nephew over the money.
So she's aware that Tim had then flipped the script on her after after he got caught and tried to make it like she was in on stealing this alleged money that that Andre stole allegedly. He put her into it, but she still think the part about Andre allegedly breaking into Miss Robbie's house and stealing the money and valuables is true. But he done threw you in it too. And ain't nothing still clicked to make you say, wow, that probably was a lot of whole time. And I'll give her grace to say she was not in court when, you know, testimony and all that stuff was happening. So she may not heard it as factually as I have, that Andre was completely cleared of having anything to do with Miss Robbie's break-in by the detective who was on the witness stand. But she's been putting it in, and she like, well, I know I ain't do it. That's crazy. I'm laughing at it. But it's got to be true that Andre did it, because that's why I started this whole thing. Based on that story he told me. Poll question, I'm going to close this one out. Do you think that Terica saw the TV One For My Man episode? 83% of you think that she did see it. 17% of you think she did not see it. She absolutely saw it, because she used For My Man as a reference here in this interview. No one just talks about For My Man as a reference as in a relationship type of situation. She saw that clearly. Hell, if I saw my aunt, my aunt told me, you on TV, why you ain't tell me? I'm like, I ain't even know. She saw it. She definitely saw it. I'm put out the next poll question too. Do you think that Tim was responsible for Miss Robbie's break-in? Is the next poll question coming out.
That's what was his narrative.
Damn. So the trial going on, you say your thing, he get on, y'all testify, woo-woo, and he gets sentenced. And they tell you, so when he gets sentenced, did you already knew what your fate was going to be?
Well, so I signed a plea deal, 0 to 20 years.
Okay.
So they could have gave me up to 20 years. That's what I signed.
Okay.
I could have got anywhere up to 20 years.
Okay.
So I went and I testified, and it was crazy, because when I got on the stand, right before I got on the stand, I prayed that God would let my truth shine, you know. So when I got on the stand, his lawyer asked me all the right questions. He asked me, did I know he was going to be murdered? Of course, I did not know. He asked me, did I have any clue? He asked me, did I know about the insurance policy? He asked me everything that cleared me.
His lawyer.
His lawyer.
That ain't nothing but God.
Then he turned around and contradicted himself and said, well, you've been dancing a long time. You've been manipulating men and this and that. Baby, you not already cleared me.
For real.
So everybody went from, she never getting out of jail. Like, I literally had family members telling my mom, your daughter ain't never coming home.
That's crazy.
You know, and it's so crazy. Then everybody my family started getting calls from people. Yeah, Terica come home. Now, but
Now
at this point, we had 30-some months.
Yeah.
At this point.
Yeah.
So, I just remember after that happened, after, you know, I testified and stuff, it was getting ready for me to be sentenced. And people tried their best to, like, they leaked my letters from my family and friends. You know, it was all over the internet, you know.
Who leaked her? Who did that? Who leaked her family letters and stuff all over the internet? Who did that? That is a brilliant content. Poll question, we're closing out. Do you think that Tim was responsible for the burglary of Miss Robbie's home? We rarely get 100% on any of our polls. 100% of you says that Tim is responsible. I'm so glad that through our research and our dedication to this story that 100% of the people are on the same page with at least this one thing. I'm very happy. I'm very proud of y'all today. This means that people really are paying attention. I know everybody don't see every episode and everything we've ever done, but y'all saw enough to know that fact, and I love it. Poll question going now. Do you think, because you just mentioned it, do you think that, hold on. Uh-oh, it's too long. Here we go. Shorten that. Do you think that Terica was referring to me as the leak of her family and friends' character witness letters all over the internet? Was that us? Did y'all do that?
It was just crazy. So my lawyer came and he saw me and he was like, I got good news for you. First of all, I was supposed to be sentenced way before, because at this point, I'm sitting in a federal holdover all this time. Like, I'm in county jail. Mm-hmm. I ain't doing prison time. So county jail, anybody that been in jail know, county jail is hard time. Mm-hmm. County jail, you have more freedom in prison. Mm-hmm. I was ready to go to prison and go to school and come out better, because I knew that God had put me in this predicament. Mm-hmm. And at the end, I was going to be better. Yeah. Whatever God put before me, I knew I was going to survive. Exactly. Right. And I was willing to take the time because I was caught up in this shit. My decisions got me caught up. Whether I knew or not, whether I did not know, but I'm still in this shit.
Right, so you was just ready to take what came with it.
I was ready to take, right,
like, come on, let's do this.
Yeah, let's do whatever it is, because my bad decisions, those are my consequences. These are my consequences of making the wrong decisions or trusting the wrong people. Yep. At the end of the day, I knew God had me. He gonna work on me. Me and my kids was completely blessed throughout the whole ordeal. My lawyer was paid for in cash. My kids had Christmases, birthdays. We didn't want for nothing. So I knew God had his hands on me. Mm-hmm. He had his hand. I literally got to talk to my kids all day, every day.
That's good.
And they cost money. Mm-hmm. I got the video call them. I used to see my kids for Christmas. I spent Christmas with them on video call, birthdays. Mm-hmm. Like, they had everything. You know what I'm saying? They just had their mama in their presence. Mm-hmm. But I knew that we were going to be okay. Yeah. And my mama kept saying, you coming home, you coming home, you coming home. Mm-hmm. So my sentencing day got pushed back. Mm-hmm. And I was like, at this point, I was crying so hard, because I'm like,
that's devastating.
I'm tired. Yeah.
Like,
I'm tired of going through this. Like, let's just get it over with, because to see her and not know what your fate is, to not know, like, what's going to go on, like, it was crazy. And then I remember I was in jail. I was getting ready to go to, they had family set my sentencing date 4 days after my birthday. And all the girls was huddled up, and they was gossiping, and they was like, yeah, she finna go to jail for life.
Damn.
So my lawyer told me, he said, I'm letting you know now that the government is thinking about giving you 36 months. This was like literally the day before. I was blown away, but I couldn't tell nobody. I couldn't tell my, you know what I'm saying? I couldn't
Especially
tell
it ain't happened yet.
Right, and then
so
I don't know,
does that
it could have been.
Because, I'm a little, I don't really know, like, a lot about jail and stuff like that. So does that mean, like, you would have had basically time served and then a couple months left?
Yeah, so you do 85% of your time in the field.
Oh, okay.
Right. Now, if you go to prison, you can go to classes and get time off and all this stuff there. Okay. So I had to do 85%. So it gave me time served, because at this point I had 30 months in, so I had to do like another 4 weeks. Mm. But like going in, that was just only their recommendation. Mm-hmm. The judge had the power to do whatever he wanted to do.
Right.
The ball was in his court.
Mm-hmm. And that was the up to 20 years from
up
the plea
to
deal
20 years, right?
Okay.
So I'm sitting in there, my whole family, my kids. I hadn't seen my kids in person in forever in my family. So I'm sitting in the courtroom, and it's just crazy. And I'm just sitting here and I'm just listening to this man family talk. And my heart go out to him, because I had a brother that was killed, that was
I saw somebody made. I was trying to say some of this commentary to after, but I saw someone comment on how she's not saying Andre's name. Now she did say it once, because now I've seen this 3 times. She did mention it once that I remember, but other than that, she's been calling him that man, the nephew, that dude, that little ninja, everything but his name. Say his name. Say his name, because you're responsible. And now that man family.
I'm just listening to this man family talk. And my heart go out to him because I had a brother that was killed, that was shot dead, killed, you know. So I know what that feels like. You know what I'm saying? And like I told them when I stood up, I was like, my heart go out to y'all, and I apologize for my part in it. And Lord knows if I could take it back, I would. But I can't, you know? So, of course, if anybody knew about that case, of course, a lot of people didn't know the complete details. But Tim had actually sought several women to set his nephew up. He was determined. I wasn't the only person. And that was one of the reasons why, you know what I'm saying, the government, you know what I'm saying, was able to break that case, because they had other people that they talked to and other women, and their story matched my story.
So hold up. Other women like
it was, yeah, he had like another woman that she didn't know he was gonna kill him neither. He just had her talking to him for months. So like he had her talking to him for months. And so she got mad at him. And that's when she told the nephew, like, you know, your uncle been looking for you, blase, blase, all that stuff.
Because I heard that Andre actually went to the police and was like, if anything happened to me, it's
right, exactly.
Oh,
So they got part of the story incorrect. So it is correct that there were, what I heard was there were 2 other women that Tim tried to recruit for this purpose. One just flat out denied it or whatever. The second one was the one who she's speaking of, who then in turn told Andre, watch out, your uncle is after you, blah, blah, blah. Andre did not run to the police with this information. He instead went to his family, his siblings, his mother, and he told them, if something happens to me, Uncle Tim did it. He didn't go to the police with that. That's why the police, when it first all happened, was like, well, do y'all know of anyone who would want to hurt him? Blah, 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 this and that. That's when it came to Miss Michelle, Andre's mother. She remembered and recalled that Andre said, if something happened to me, my Uncle Tim did it. Not the police. It was his family.
So that's how he knew, because the girl told him. So
the girl had told him, right? So like my story matched somebody that I never even met before.
And they're like, okay.
So like exactly. So but at first in the beginning I was the villain as well. So you know they got up in court and they was like, Judge, we asked you in Jesus' name to get this lady life in prison. And the judge said, my heart go out to y'all and I feel y'all. But this young lady right here, she don't deserve to be in no prison. They said that she's a victim as well. She was manipulated.
Now, Terica, I know you've been through some trauma before this, during this, and after, but Judge Ross ain't say that. You got some false memories there. Those things were kind of said, but they weren't said by Judge Ross. It was said by the prosecutors, who did, during her sentencing hearing, take more of a sympathetic approach, because they had done the whole psychological evaluation on her. They got to know more about her past, being pimped out as a kid. Her father was a pimp. Being in abusive relationships, men taking advantage of her throughout her adolescence, all the way through her adulthood, up until the situation with Tim and probably beyond that as well. So they were petitioning the court to be sympathetic to her because of what she had been through. And they were also saying that because of her, this case was able to be solved. Without Terica's participation, this case, Tim would still be out on the street. So Judge Ross did say that he sympathized with the Griggs family. And then she's going to say a few other things, but she's mixing up people because Judge Ross wasn't sitting there like, this, I know family, the Griggs family, I sympathize with y'all, but this woman shouldn't be in jail. That he ain't say that ish. He did not say that ish. He did not say that ish.
She had no idea, and he said, I'm sorry to say this, but this was going to happen to Andre regardless whether she was involved or not.
He did say that. Judge Ross did say to the family that Tim Norman was determined to unalive Andre Montgomery for whatever reason. That part is still somewhat of a mystery besides the money, but it's bigger than the money. There's more to it because the fact that he was plotting on Andre for 2 years before the actual unaliving happened shows that there was something more to it. But he did say that pretty much no matter what, he unfortunately believes that Andre's life would have been taken because Tim was hunting him down like a dog, basically. So that part is true. The other thing, she's confusing who said what. I was there taking notes while she was worried about the fate of her life, or faith of her life. I was worried about my faith of my life. So I know what my points are factual. Okay, I'm gonna rewind just a little bit, just a little bit. There we go.
Take it back, I would, but I can't, you know? Mm-hmm. So, of course, if anybody knew about that case, of course, a lot of people didn't know the complete details, but Tim had actually sought several women to set his nephew up. He was determined. I wasn't the only person, and that was one of the reasons why, you know what I'm saying, the government, you know what I'm saying, was able to break that case because they had other people that they talked to, mm-hmm. and other women, and their story matched my story.
So, hold up. Other women, like
it was, yeah, he had like another woman that she didn't know he was gonna kill him neither. Oh. He had her talking to him for months. So, like, he had her talking to him for months. And so she got mad at him. And that's when she told the nephew, like, you know, your uncle been looking for you, blase, all that stuff.
Because I heard that Andre actually went to the police and was like, exactly. If anything happened to me, it's
right,
my uncle.
Exactly.
Oh, so he went to the police.
So that's how he knew, because the girl told him. So
the girl had told him, right? So, like, my story matched somebody that I never even met before.
And they're like, okay.
So, like, exactly. So, but at first, in the beginning, I was the villain as well. Mm-hmm. So, you know, they got up in court and they was like, Judge, we asked you in Jesus' name to get his lady life in prison.
And only, well, in those sort of words, very similar, it was Andre's aunt who said that in her closing, that she basically was praying in Jesus' name that she gets a life sentence. Poll question I'm closing out. Was Terica referring to me as a leak of her family and friends' character witness letters? 77% of you say yes. 23% of you say no. Some of y'all probably didn't see my video, but I was the first person to cover it. I don't know if anybody else did. I think somebody else might have. But yeah. Anyway, next. Oh, let's continue playing. It's almost over. Let's see. I don't know how much more left, but it's almost over. Probably 15 more minutes, I think.
And the judge said, my heart go out to y'all and I feel y'all. But this young lady right here, she don't deserve to be in no prison. They said that she's a victim as well. She was manipulated. She had no idea. And he said, I'm sorry to say this, but this was going to happen to Andre regardless whether she was involved or
If
not.
you didn't do it,
This
somebody
judge,
else.
This is what the judge said.
man, that's crazy. I know that from you hearing that. I know you like, Lord, I'm finna go home.
And then, so the judge also said, he said, if it wasn't for her, this would also be a unsolved case. Because it was like,
And he's sitting right in there.
oh,
10.
no, he wasn't. This was at my sentence.
This your sentence, okay.
This is my sentence.
Okay.
Tim hadn't even been sentenced yet. This was
Okay.
my sentence.
Okay.
He had already been to trial and
Okay.
lost, though. So I can't even believe he took them people to trial knowing he was guilty.
That was crazy.
Like, you got to be some kind of crazy.
Yeah.
And it's so crazy because I've never opened up and spoken to anyone besides my family and friends.
Yeah.
I actually never felt the need because I don't care what people think about me.
Right, you know what you know.
I know
what
God,
it is.
and God showed up for me, and He showed me that He judges the heart. And if God is for you, who can be against you?
Nah, for sure. Talking.
You know what I'm saying? He showed me.
Yeah.
He showed me, like,
Yeah.
and he's like, I'm so grateful, and I actually got a second chance at life, and life could have been over for me.
And we happy that, you got a second chance. Like, that's why it's so important to tell your story. You know what I'm saying? Now, you don't owe nobody no explanation
Right.
but you and God.
Right.
But sometimes stories can get
Yeah, and then you know what I do like to tell people other young women and just other people because trusting the wrong people could get you in a whole nother you know what I'm saying, can cost you your life seriously. And that experience alone, it just has me super cautious.
Yeah.
Because it showed me a different type of evil in the world.
And see, this is the thing, too. I was just telling my people, most of the stuff that I've been in had something to do with someone else.
And this another thing, too, they looked at, had I not been dealing with Tim, I wouldn't have ever even been in that type of trouble because they Miss Ellis, we have went over these folks found out so much about me. Like, they literally talked to people that was connected to me to somebody else. Like, the government go and talk to people like, say I know you and I dated you. They go and they talk to your cousin and your friend. They don't want to talk to you directly. They want to talk to somebody that know y'all because they know you they gonna tell. They don't have no reason to protect you to see what your character is. So yeah, they went and they did that. They talked to so many people,
And they didn't have nothing bad to say about
and they just kept it real.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And all of that is like.
The co-interviewer says, yeah, and they ain't had nothing bad to say. And Terica's like, well, they just kept it real. They was like, yeah, she a prostitute, she a hoe, but she ain't no, unaliver. She's a scallywag, but she ain't no unaliver.
I was molested as a kid. I was molested. And then when I was 16, I had this guy that was 28 that I started dating. He convinced me to run away from my family and stuff. And then he started pimping me. And so I kind of had went through that. And then I had got
Is that her dude? Because she said her and her dude been together forever since she was a teenager. Now, and that was earlier. Now she's talking about the guy who pimped her out, who was older, but he was pimping her out as a teenager. So was this at the same time? Were two of them pimping you out? The guy who your dude who was with you during the time of you luring Andre out? Is this the same guy or are these two different guys? These are the questions that the interviewer should be asking, but instead they're too busy trying to make sure they can get this exclusive.
addicted to X pills and stuff. At 16,
That's crazy.
I almost died. I literally tried to hang myself, all type of stuff. It was horrible for me. He used to beat me. So for them to know that story, they you should have been in trouble. They said that because the government has they analyze your character. They analyze people. Like, this is what they do for a living. They have people on their
There's a lot of people that go through that type of trauma
because they need to know what. You know how y'all watch what's that New York show where the crime show,
CSI,
and stuff, and you see how they be the said, you know, this is
that made the person beat his way in life.
Exactly. So like they was like, I should have been in some type of trouble.
You didn't let that mess up your character.
I ain't let that mess up. Exactly. So like, me dancing, but that was just like what I was taught. That was taught for my hustle. That's what and for so long I thought that was my identity until I started doing lashes. And it's like, it be so crazy because again, it goes back to karma. Like, God showed up for me. Because I've always been straight up. I've always been straight up, and I've always tried to do what was right. But you know, it was so crazy. I had people that I barely even knew, that I didn't even have a friendship with, sending money and stuff to my kids and family. Like, we just want to be there for her. We just want to support her.
Because they knew.
Exactly.
They knew that you
so
were
I had more people against me than for me, but I had support too. I had people like, really, and I still to this day have people that contact me, older women and people, and they be like calling me their niece and stuff and be like, oh, I'm so happy you home. Like, it's been times I've been in the store and people recognize me and just want to hug on me and be like, I'm so glad you made it out of that, and I was praying for you, and but I've also had people contact me and say, you murderer, and you know, I've had that. You know, you go different both ways.
So how does that make you feel, like when people say, you know, like call you a murderer and stuff like that?
Thank God, God know my character. Thank God I got God. Thank God I'm confident in who I am as a person. And I pray for people like that, because you gotta be some type of miserable with yourself to think you can judge somebody. Because I honestly feel like anybody could have been in that predicament. Because when you trust somebody, you know what I'm saying? When you put your trust in somebody,
for a long
time,
you don't see that coming. You know what I'm saying? That's some
Illuminati stuff to
Especially
me.
like if you
that's
know,
like that don't even happen. That don't happen. I'm not racist, but that don't happen in the black community.
Yeah, you don't even think that people are capable of stuff like that.
Think about it. He's on TV.
Exactly.
They got a popular. Not that it's just on TV. They got a popular restaurant
all over the world.
So you ain't thinking it's finna go high. It's finna go. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, that could have happened to her. That could have happened to me. I was like, oh, he right here.
Exactly. Because this thing, right, say your peoples hit you up. You know what I'm saying? Like your close peoples. And you'd be like, man, so-and-so just took it. Man, that's messed up. Man, go get your money, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I got to think I was put myself in other shoes. That's big for me. Like, that's why since I've been home, I be going to feed the homeless and stuff, because I know I could have lost my mind. I could be in them people predicament. I could be gone for the rest of my life. So if I see somebody and God put them in front of me and I can help them, I'm going to do just that. Because
do you ever sit around and it just come to you one day like, oh shit, I'm free?
Man, how many times?
Yeah.
Okay, so I had a big thing, when I was in jail, I used to watch church a lot. And I used to, wish I could be, in church and, physical, because at the end of the day, the end goal is being a better you.
Right.
So it's times where I be in church and I be I could see me standing at the payphone, standing at the jail phone, making a collect call. And I just be praising God, because, man, that was my life.
No, sure.
When them folks first freed me at the federal building, y'all, I was lost. I didn't know where to go and what to do. I was so used to having shackles on my arms and my legs. I ain't had no phone, and then I had to use somebody's phone to call my friends and stuff. I was surprising my mama and my family. So only my friends that stayed in St. Louis knew I was coming home on that day. I called them first thing that morning and was like, y'all, pick me up, because I was in Illinois, so they had to drive me to St. Louis, and then my friends drove me to Memphis, and I was able to surprise my mama and my kids.
I know she thought she saw a ghost that day.
Girl, I surprised my mama and my baby. They was at the laundromat. It was so, and then my oldest, she does lashes and stuff too. She was actually doing somebody's lashes
What?
when I popped up. Yep, it was beautiful. It was a beautiful thing, and I was so grateful for those.
We happy for you too, by the way,
Yeah,
because
thank
we
sure.
love for one thing of getting charged for something that you didn't do. You know what I'm saying? So you're at home now. His sentence come how later after that?
No, he actually, I want to say he got sentenced because I had to wait like 4 weeks.
Did he say she got charged for something she didn't do? This interview is extremely biased. Yeah, it's kind of hard getting charged for something you did. No. She got charged for what she did. She just didn't get a lot of time. You should have said she got a very light sentence for what you actually did. Now, whether or not she did it on purpose or knowingly and all that, I'll let y'all fight that out in the comments. But she definitely is guilty, and he's like, yeah, at least, it's bad serving time for something you ain't do. Huh? What? Have you even watched the story at all?
So it's times where I be in church and I be like, I could see me standing at the payphone, standing at the jail phone, making a collect call. And I just be praising God because, man, that was my life.
No, sure.
When them folks first freed me at the federal building, y'all, I was lost. I didn't know where to go and what to do. I was so used to having shackles on my arms and my legs. I ain't had no phone, and then I had to use somebody's phone to call my friends and stuff. Like, I was surprising my mama and my family. So only my friends that stayed in St. Louis knew I was coming home on that day. I called them first thing that morning and was like, y'all, pick me up, because I was in Illinois, so they had to drive me to St. Louis, and then my friends drove me to Memphis, and I was able to surprise my mama and my kids.
I know she thought she saw a ghost that day.
Girl, I surprised my mama and my baby. They was at the laundromat. It was so, and then my oldest, she does lashes and stuff too. She was actually doing somebody's lashes when I popped up. Yep, it was beautiful. It was a beautiful thing, and I was so grateful for those.
We happy for you too, by the way, because we
sure.
love for one thing of getting charged for something that you didn't do. You know what I'm saying? So you're at home now. His sentence come how later after that?
No, he actually, I want to say he got sentenced because I had to wait like 4 weeks, like 4 or 5 weeks before I went home.
Okay.
So he actually got sentenced in during that time while I was in there.
So you knew he's getting sentenced while
I
you were
heard.
there.
My lawyer, kept me informed of everything.
So what did he end up getting?
He got life plus 20.
Damn. So have you heard from him or anybody?
No, but one day I saw him on my story, watching my story from his page.
Damn.
So I guess he wanted me to know that he see me.
So you put a story up and you seen his profile pop up on your stuff.
Yeah, you know how when you watch
How did it make you feel?
A little nervous. And
Like this ain't over with type. Almost.
It was I felt like it was probably like a warning. But you know what? Again, just like God protected me when that man came in my house and had me at gunpoint. And he fled up out that house like I had some niggas come up out the closet with some Uzis. That's how I feel like God, you know what I'm saying? And I just feel like God has the ultimate power and the ultimate control, and I know he protects me from unseen evil. You know what I'm saying? He protects me at all times. I know that.
One thing, I'm a God person. Like, you definitely protect me.
I'm big on it. And he freed me for a reason. So that's why I did decide to go ahead. I've had Oxygen Network. I've had a lot of people contact me to do interviews and to be a part of documentaries and all of that. But when I came in here and when I sat down and when I talked to y'all, it was like God was telling me, like, this the time.
That's crazy because something like that,
Yeah.
you wouldn't just open up and tell people that, but it's just like we're we're real genuine people, you know what I'm saying? Like when you come in, like we don't judge nobody. I know what that's like to be judged based off, you know what I'm saying, your appearance and stuff like that. And then you look familiar, and it's only because I used to be in the strip club.
Yeah.
Like the year that you used to dance at Bottoms Up, I was
Yeah.
outside.
Yeah.
So that's, I knew you. And so that's why I was like, I was like, I'm from St. Louis. You like, I'm saying, like, where you used to work at Bottoms Up? Like, girl, I was in there. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so, like, and it was just crazy that, like, you know, you came out and, you know, you was talking about that and, you know, you felt comfortable because, you know, we ain't know nothing. We ain't judging you. You know what I'm saying? Like, we only know what the media puts out about somebody. And, you know, honestly, I didn't really follow the case too closely because I told you I used to be cool with him. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's crazy because you wouldn't think that, like, he was that type of person. Like, he was real friendly. Yes. He helped a lot of people. Yes. He on TV. He got these, you know, restaurant chains and stuff like that. So, you know, if you feel like you helping a friend, you really don't know.
Exactly, like, cause like he really was my friend. Like, he really put me up on a lot.
Yeah, he definitely was that type of person. Yeah,
like I'm talking about, I can call him and he gonna send me that money. Mm-hmm. Like, and like I said, he was once told me about the fashion district in LA to go get the clothes and stuff. So like, yeah, like, nah, I wouldn't have, you know what I'm saying? And it hurt. You know what I'm saying?
And just to go off what I see, you know what I'm saying, from him, I still think he was I think he was a good person. I think he has a temper problem, what I think.
He does.
This is where I want to log off. The interviewer thinks that Tim is a good person. The only problem is he got a little attitude problem, a little temper, anger problem. Yeah, that's true, but that does not negate the fact that he put out a murder for hire plot on his nephew. Like, this wasn't like they got in an argument earlier that day and then Tim just blacked out and set this up in one day and unalived his nephew and was like, oh my God, what did I do? This is from the time that Andre was, I think, 19 or 20. Tim put out a life insurance policy on him and got an additional $200,000 if he died accidentally through, accidentally. And I think, you know, unaliving was one of those things that fell under that category. I'm putting out this poll question. Do you agree with the host that Tim is a good person with just a temper problem? It's like, this is the problem when people haven't like followed the story and really fully educated themselves, because this is so beyond a one and done situation. Tim plotted on his very own nephew, the son of his only brother, who is no longer with us, for years. For years. Andre was still technically a teenager when Tim took out the policies to try to take his life. And then he waited 2 years to execute his plan, literally. And he's actually a good person. People don't realize that evil people can have personas to lure you in. Tim had that. But then those people who got close enough to him got to see the other side. And those who ended up on the wrong side of it were the ones who got. Jennifer Williams, I saw somebody asking questions about her in the chat. She was one of them, his ex-girlfriend, Jennifer Williams, to the point that he was stalking her. She had to get a TPO. We know that Janae, his ex-girlfriend, is mother of his first son. We know she went through some stuff with Tim, kicked him out the house and everything else. It's beyond an anger problem.
He got a temper problem for sure.
You know what I'm saying? So that's what I see. You know what I'm saying? I feel like his emotions got too much of him at that time. And, you know, and he just, you know, probably react to it. You know what I'm saying?
But I felt like
that just shows how checked out he is. It wasn't a one-day thing. Again, years. He plotted. He planned.
It was messed up because give me Give me a choice.
You know, for sure.
Yeah.
Give me a choice.
That's where the
part.
problem comes in.
That part right
like,
there.
Give me a choice.
Because
That's me and my cool with
people,
that.
it's people out here that are okay with that.
Exactly.
Beyond okay with that.
It's a bunch of shiesty chicks out here that would have loved to do it with no problem.
They would have did themselves.
And I'm sure they wouldn't even got caught.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
And had I been on that, I wouldn't have got caught neither. I wouldn't have gave this man my information. I gave him my information. I text him my information. That is how, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
a person who knows that they set somebody up, not finna give you their information. They're not finna talk to you on their real phone and go get a burner phone later.
Right.
Come on now. Make it make sense. But again, to each their own. If people feel how they feel, you got that to do. That's on you. That's a personal problem. But God say don't judge. And be careful. I gotta tell people, don't find yourself in a situation you can't get out of.
Man.
Don't find yourself in a situation. And you can't point no finger at nobody because we all sin.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just be grateful that you ain't been put in no predicament like
just
this.
say,
And I thank God that I came out the way I did. And like I said, he opened my eyes to a lot.
Yeah.
And he also changed me mentally because I was about, go get me some money. Do you know what I'm saying? Do it. Go get your money. Like, now I know all money ain't good money. Because that $10,000 almost cost me my life.
Yeah.
And it definitely cost me time with my family. Like, I literally was only home 7 days and lost my mom. My mom died in my arms.
Man, I'm sorry.
I only got to spend 7 days with my mom. Touched her for 7 days. Came home, but I thank God because she could have left while I was in there.
Yeah.
So that was a gift he gave me also. Because she had heart failure.
Hey, listen. This is something.
So he gifted me. He gave me 2 big gifts within 7 days. And y'all know that number 7 means completion.
Yeah. My birthday January the 7th.
Okay then. All right, big Capricorn.
Big Capricorn.
Big Capricorn. That's what's up.
It means
I'm
completion.
January the 20th.
That's what's up. You are in the
I'm January the 20th.
Yeah, 7 mean completion.
Yeah, 7 means something. And so, like, I'm grateful. And I just want to we have to be careful who we deal with, though.
Yeah.
And like I read in the Bible, it took for me to go to jail to sit down and actually read the Bible.
Like when I read in the Bible. It took me to go to jail to read the Bible. I'm sorry, y'all.
Changed me mentally because I was about go get me some money. Do you know what I'm saying? Do it. Go get your money. Like, now I know all money ain't good money. Because that $10,000 almost cost me my life.
Yeah.
And it definitely cost me time with my family. Like, I literally was only home 7 days and lost my mom. My mom died in my arms.
Man, I'm sorry.
I only got to spend 7 days with my mom. Touched her for 7 days. Came home, but I thank God because she could have left while I was in there.
Yeah.
So that was a gift he gave me also. Because she had heart failure.
Hey, listen. This is something.
So he gifted me. He gave me 2 big gifts within 7 days. And y'all know that number 7 means completion.
Yeah. My birthday January the 7th.
Okay then. All right, big Capricorn.
Big Capricorn.
Big Capricorn. That's what's up.
It means
I'm
completion.
January the 20th.
That's what's up. You are in the
I'm January the 20th.
Yeah, 7 mean completion.
Yeah, 7 means something. And so, like, I'm grateful. And I just want to we have to be careful who we deal with, though.
Yeah.
And like I read in the Bible, it took for me to go to jail to sit down and actually read the Bible. And it says, bad company corrupts good character.
It does. It really does.
So you really have to be careful who you deal with.
Are you kind of like scared of men type shit?
I'm very cautious. Because, and not only that, I hate meeting new guys because I got to explain this to them. You know, I got to give you a choice and an option. You know what I'm saying? Like, I gotta give you that. You got that. I owe you that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You need to know who you dealing with.
No, and that's, come on now. You can't ask for no more.
You need to know, you know what I'm saying? And it's your choice, and I'm cool with it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But overall, though, it also taught me what type of man I want. You know what I'm saying? And the characteristics
And
to
it ain't
look
got
for.
nothing to do with money.
And another thing, you really have to get to know people.
She ain't say no to
You really
that.
have to, like, you really have to, because I dealt with him, but I didn't deal
You
with
didn't.
him.
Exactly.
Yeah, you didn't really know who you.
Yeah,
who
like,
you
I
were.
really didn't know who I was dealing with, because I was just in it for benefit.
Let me ask you a question, and this the last thing.
Okay.
Are you happy?
I got peace. I would say, cause before I left, I didn't have peace at all. Like, I was so grateful. I'm so happy that the situation is finally over with, and I'm grateful. And every day I don't take life for granted. So I got peace. And my mom is one of my mom and my kids and my family are my motivation. So with my mom leaving and the way she stood for me and prayed over me and believed in me coming home, I have to make her proud. I have to show up every day for her, for my kids, and for my family, and for everybody that was praying for me, and for all my support.
Yeah, so you got your boutique and stuff going
Yep,
now?
I got a boutique
You
called
say you-
Science Perfection.
And you say you about to write a book.
Yep, I actually am. It's going to be called I Survived by Terica Ellis.
That's what's up.
Yeah, so it's currently being worked on now.
That's what's up.
And
Y'all think she getting help with that book? Well, so. Poll question, we're closing out. Do you agree with the host that Tim is a good person with just a temper problem? 100% of y'all like, hell no. Go play in our face. I agree with y'all. Poll question, next one. Where we at? Will you buy or read and buy, or buy and read Terica's book, I Survived by Terica Ellis? Will you read it? Will you?
my boutique, I named it after my mom, Science Perfection.
Okay.
Yep, so, yep, that's it. And then, like, soon, once everything is completely done and because I'm still building my life. I'm still,
Right.
Still,
you know,
Picking up the pieces
picking up
and-
the pieces. So, but once I want to start an organization for women and for women and young girls and
That's
kids with parents incarcerated.
Mm-hmm.
Because when a parent is incarcerated, imagine how those kids, you know,
especially the
imagine-
mother.
It's especially a mother. Them kids go through stuff.
Okay, they go through a lot.
They go through
If
a
they don't
lot.
have the right people around them.
My babies, my youngest had to go through therapy. You know,
Because one thing people got to understand that ain't nobody going to take care of your kids how you do it.
ain't nobody gonna take care of your kids like you. Nobody. And my baby had separation anxiety.
Yeah.
You know, and she had
But she
to
was
go.
so young.
Yes.
You know?
And then she had sickle cells too, so
She's
So she
dealing with
going through
stuff.
health
yeah,
and
she
she
issues.
going
wants
through
you.
hell, exactly. But my mom was amazing. Oh my
Exactly.
God. Kudos to my mom.
kudos
That's
to
right.
mama.
She was amazing. She did her thing, y'all. She
already knew
did.
it.
She held me down. And I got her legacy has to live on. We're going to do great things in her name.
That's right.
Shout out to Mama. She hold it down.
Yeah,
man.
even from heaven, I feel like she
Yeah.
be making moves. I tell her, Mom, you keep making the moves up here, I'm gonna keep doing
I
the
got you
footwork down here.
I got you
For
down
real,
here.
we ain't gonna let it go in vain at all.
Hold on
real.
real quick, because you said something yesterday. And you said you wanted to rap. Look, stars, you're gonna be
So
rapping
look,
to
I
me.
used to rap when I
that's
was
what's
younger,
up.
like in my early 20s. I was cold. I could have been cold, but them streets had me. I wanted my fast money. I used to model and rap. But them streets I wanted my fast money. I was getting that fast money, so I've been thinking about it. I don't know. I might. I'm thinking. I'm
think you
definitely
should.
thinking about it.
I
I'm
think you
definitely
should.
am. Hey, y'all real. I mess with y'all a long way
We fuck
because
with you
man, I done had so many like networks trying to offer me money. I won't because I'm not gonna give the devil the power because they try to make money off of someone's tragedy. That was a tragedy, but I ain't talking to nobody else.
I want you to know, like, we're super grateful, and I know you. And it's all we just genuine people.
Yeah.
And most time you meet genuine person, but we a genuine couple. Like we don't be on nothing. You know what I'm saying? And I know you seen, and you good judge with Carrie. I know you watched us all yesterday. And
yeah, exactly. But you know what though? I'ma tell y'all. I learned vibes. I learned to really feel people.
Yeah.
If we the warning signs be there.
Yeah.
The warning signs, I had warning signs with him. No matter, but we let money cloud our judgment.
Yeah. You ignore it.
You ignore it. But the sign with anybody, you're gonna feel it. You're gonna know if someone's genuine or not, and if someone's for you or against you. Them spirits don't like at all.
No.
Take heed.
Believe it.
Believe it and take heed. So I have people that be literally trying to get at me, dudes with big money. I'm not going nowhere near you, shawty.
Mine.
I ain't going nowhere near you. You not worth my life.
And then I don't be really true happiness.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like
That's what they don't know.
But listen, vibes, we gotta go. I know we gotta go. But listen, to a lot of young people, women out there, and if you dancing and if you getting your money, cause I did it for a long time, man, do something with it. Invest in yourself.
before you can get out of it.
But also keep your conscience. Keep God
true.
First.
Yes.
And keep your conscience. Don't do nothing to nobody you don't want done to yourself.
So, one thing, and say this before we get in, because Tim gonna see it. His family gonna see it, his mama. What messages, if they gonna see it, give them a message right now.
I mean, it is what it is. It happened. It happened. Tim pulled me in this.
Yeah.
I didn't put myself in this. Tim pulled me in this. He chose me. He chose me and pulled me in this. He didn't give me a choice. Then he tried to throw me up under the bus and lie on me and my name and my character. So yeah, I feel some type of way. But God bless him and God bless his family.
It's my third time watching it, and you need to see my original. I was letting most of it just play. If you haven't seen it, you need to see my original blind reaction from the day after this was released. It is on Telegram and Patreon and our channel membership. The link would have went out on November 1st. So if you join any of those platforms, you can just scroll back to November 1st and you can see my authentic blind reaction, unfiltered, because over here I was pushing back some stuff. You said you cut it off too soon, Vale. No, that was literally the last part of that video. Literally. I just edited it a couple hours ago, so I'm aware that it was literally the end of it. Savvy is letting you know the Patreon watch was too good, Vale. Yes, because we really I wasn't filtered. And it was a blind reaction. All that was new. All this stuff y'all just watched, the shenanigans, that was all new, fresh. I had my authentic reactions. But anyway, Taboo is saying, Vale, can you get her on the show? We have questions for her. What I will let y'all know, because this has come up before. I've said it before, but everyone doesn't see everything, and I get that, and so I don't mind repeating it. She will never, ever be on this show, ever. I don't think she would want to be. But even if she wanted to be, she would never be on this show. I would never have her on this show because I would not betray the relationship that I have with the Griggs family. That ain't happening. If y'all want to see her, call the people who just did that gaslighting ass interview with her and ask them to do it again, or somebody else. But it ain't gonna be me. She'll never be on this show ever, 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 ever. Vel, I forgot you have a personal relationship with Andre's family. Are you having the discussion after the video ends to give your opinions? I'm doing that now. Will the telephone lines be open for calls? I've never done phone calls over here. However, if you want to comment in the comment section, you can. If you want to talk, I do open it up on Patreon. Nobody ever really calls in. No, that's the thing. Nobody really, rarely, I should say. But over on Patreon, we do that sort of thing. But over here on the public side, I do not, because I can't. Don't know who might get on and do and say what. So, right. Just Ebbs is asking, why wouldn't Terica block Tim Norman from being able to see her Instagram from his main page? Of course, he could always create a burner. And I never even considered that until I saw, it was a couple of y'all that said it, but Just Ebbs, I think I saw first. But I'm like, yeah, why wouldn't she block him, especially at this point? So it's like, he watching you, but are you also kind of watching him? See, like, I don't want to block him. I need to know what he's doing. He really has only posted that one gaslighting post after, was it after his conviction? It felt like it was some point after his conviction or sentencing, I think. It was after his sentencing where he was saying the FBI set him up and blah, 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 and this and that foolishness. God is Great is saying, yes, Vel, do open calls. Yeah, I ain't doing that. Sorry. Not on here. If you want to see open calls, come over to Patreon, but not over here. It's too risky on the public platform. Too risky. I don't like that. I don't like that. Right. Bianca the Boss is saying nothing about the victim. No. He was just that the nephew, that little ninja, him. I didn't see. I'm saying a lot of you we're talking about the lack of remorse. That was a lot of what I was saying when I did my first blind reaction, is that I just didn't see the authentic remorse from it, seeming as if it was all about her. It was about how him being unalived affected her. It was about how his family saying what they said in court affected her. It was about everything. When you look at literally every piece of what she says is about her. So it seems like she's a narcissist too, like James Timothy Norman. Oh, did I close that? Oh, poll question here is, will you read Terica's book? 92% of you say no. 8% of you say yes. I am part of that 8%, partially because I've been following the story so much that I am curious. So I will read it. I wouldn't want to pay for it, but I would definitely read it and then tell y'all what's in it. I'll tell y'all what's in it. You know I will. You know I will. Guess we'll do this poll question next. I'll read a couple comments and then we'll come back to the results of the poll. And I ain't gonna be on here much longer. I had starred 48 questions. Comments rather. I've gotten it down to 30. Because my energy is kind of tanked. Truth be told. Here we go. Didn't they find some of her missing valuables in some type of place owned or used by Tim? I have never, ever, ever, never, ever heard that ever. There were accusations during the trial that when Miss Robbie's private investigator was on the witness stand, they tried to allude to the fact that she hired the private investigator to pretty much chase her stuff down. And they specifically, she had him going after Andre. They went to a public storage unit, looking for allegedly where her items would be, and it was nothing in it. And then they tried to say that, well, they asked one of the detectives on the witness stand when they were talking about the Natural Bridge house and what was in the basement. Tim's attorney was like, and in the basement, when you guys were doing your investigation, did you see any of Miss Robbie's equipment down there, from her studio that was stolen from her house? And the guy was like, no. The detective was like, no, like her stuff wasn't there. And then he says, well, did you go upstairs to the vacant apartment to see if it was there? Because there was, I guess Tim and Miss Robbie had been told that, or no, he was kind of making it up. Because remember, I told y'all, Tim's attorney was really big on like just throwing stuff out there and seeing what would stick. And so he was trying to say, well, what if Andre, or it was rumored, I think he said that Andre, now who rumored it was probably him, literally made it up in court that day. It was rumored that Andre had stolen Miss Robbie's stuff, Tim's and Miss Robbie's stuff, and took it to the Natural Bridge house, and they were storing it upstairs in the vacant apartment. Well, the problem with that theory is that was Andre's first time ever at that place. That wasn't like, he didn't know nobody there. That wasn't like his friend's house or anything. He happened to meet up with a guy who said he had a studio space, and he met that guy, like, I think they casually or were acquaintances, or he knew of him or something. But the guy convinced Andre to come to that particular studio that day. The studio that he normally go to was not that. So that was Andre's first time ever there. And it wasn't even planned. It was like an impromptu decision earlier that day that, oh, today we're going to go to this studio over here on Natural Bridge. So, yeah. So as far as this version of it, could be you hearing a mixture of the story that Tim's attorney was making up and mixing the name of Tim. But I've never heard anything about Tim's, any of these stolen goods being found on in Tim's possession or anything like that. Thank you, Margin, earlier for the super chat. I really appreciate it. Says, thank you, Evel Mods. Much love. Much love to you as well. Thank you so much, friend. Another one, this is the easy one to answer. Sherry Jackson is asking, did she ever get the money? Yes. Tim gave Terica her $10,000 before they even left the hotel room. He had already secured the money from stealing it out of the restaurant drops. And so he had 10K cash he had more than 10K. He had about 15K, probably 15K, because he gave her 10K. And he left another 5,000 in a black bag in the hotel room for DJ Beats to pick up later to take to Travail Hill the next day. So, yes, Terica did get the money. That was part of how the FBI was able to track her, because they actually even looked to see how much money she deposited around that particular, within that like a week span or so of that. And when they added up all the money, it was about $10,000 that she had deposited across her 2 or 3 bank accounts within days of that of Andre being unalive. So that's how they were able to say, "Oh yeah, how you get this money?" This one I was a little lost at. Melinda C is saying he called his mom on the phone. And I was wondering if you were saying that Tim called Miss Robbie on the phone right after Andre was unalived. But that wouldn't be true. Well, I guess partially true. Miss Robbie actually called Tim when Tim was trying to escape and run back to LA. He was trying to fly back to LA like he had never been in St. Louis to orchestrate the situation. So Miss Robbie calls Tim somewhere around 11 p.m. after she, has found out that Andre's been unalived. And then she calls Tim to let him know, thinking that Tim is still in California. She calls Tim, and at that point, Tim was still at the airport because he had to do a connecting flight. And he didn't answer his mom. Then she called back again, and now I can't remember because it's been so long. I think he talked to her a brief second, and then he reached out to Big Ed and told him, go with mama to go to the police station for Andre. His mama was thinking that he was still in LA, thinking that Tim was still in LA. Meanwhile, he was at the airport in St. Louis. Craziness. So Miss Robbie called him, and he did call his mom, but he was calling her back. So I don't know if that's the part you were referring to or not. This question we get asked quite a bit. Kelly Ransom is saying, did Miss Robbie have a policy on Dre? Yes, she did. But Miss Robbie, the difference between Miss Robbie and Tim is that Miss Robbie had a policy on Dre at an earlier age. And also she had discussed it with Miss Michelle and gotten permission. And Miss Michelle testified to that on the witness stand during the trial, that she was aware that Miss Robbie had a policy on Andre, and it was a discussion and conversation that they had. However, the policies that Tim had on Dre, nobody knew about that. There was no discussion about that. So, and I know the next question is going to be how much. I don't know. That was never discussed, never mentioned in the court or anything. But yes, she did have an insurance policy on Andre. Yes, Ms. Robbie did get a payout when Andre passed away from that. And we're at 2.5 hours. I think we've done enough. I did screenshot some of these comments, so when I go back through them, depending, maybe we'll come back if you guys want to. I guess I'll ask that question. Poll question I'm closing out is, do you believe that Terica's version of the story? 22% of you say yes. 78% of you say no. And the last poll question is, do you... I forgot to move my mic away. Maybe. Would you like a Q&A recap of this? Basically, what I'm asking is, so I had 40 something questions. There's 24 left that I'm not going to be able to get through. But would you guys like us to come back maybe tomorrow or Monday for us to go through the questions and I answer whatever Q&A kind of questions that we already have, but any new ones you might come up with related to this, just like this particular interview or in general, the whole Sweetie Pie's case. Seems like y'all never get tired of it. That was why I actually, originally what I had planned for us tonight was to talk about the Luther Vandross documentary. And because I had his audiobook, I listened to it like 2-3 years ago and learned so much. And so when I watched the documentary on CNN last week sometime, as I watched it, it was pretty much what was in the book. However, there was so much more that they kind of glossed over. And I was talking to our executive people on Patreon, and we were talking about it one morning, and I was telling them all these extra tidbits, and they didn't know because it wasn't in the documentary. So it made me say that I should still, do a video on it, because I was going to do a documentary on it anyway. But anyway, so that was what I was going to do tonight. But then I was like, let me do in order. Like this was way overdue, more overdue than that. So yeah, I'm still going to do the live where I talk about Luther Vandross and the documentary and other little tidbits, life stories, blah, 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 this and that. But yeah, so that's coming. We'll probably do that like next weekend or something, next Friday or Saturday, something like that. But yeah, we can come back. This is the 85% of y'all want to keep talking about Sweetie Pies and Q&As. And so I screenshot these. I'll bring these into the next live that we do on this. And then y'all can add any more. So I just don't know if it's going to be tomorrow or Monday. We'll see. But with that, thank all of you. Thank you, my moderators on the front end. I greatly appreciate you. Thank all of you that now that I have returned from my hiatus of not being on YouTube on the public side, y'all just coming back in strong, and I appreciate y'all for that. Please hit that like button so that we can continue to grow. Hit that subscribe button if you have not as of yet. If you're not a subscriber, all of that helps us grow, and it is greatly appreciated in advance. But with that, until next time, until we see each other again, make sure to take care and be blessed. Peace.